Saab, other dignitaries, Director of the Institute, Vice Chancellor Anand Kumar Garu and others. And it's a privilege for me to be here. Since morning, we were listening so many things. Actually, most of the things were very, very good and informative. But at the same time, I would like to bring a new perspective. As I was trained as a scientist, but ended up as a development banker and worked as chairman of $100 billion bank, which had done fantastic work with regard to the agricultural development in the country. Many of you might have heard about NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. It was started in '82, and when I joined, the bank's balance sheet was around 4,000 crores. I took over in 2020 as chairman. It was 5.25 lakh crores. And during COVID period, I had taken it to close to 9 lakh crores. So, agriculture is evergreen. This is what actually my belief was, and it proved it. During COVID period, entire economy has gone into the doldrums, but agriculture had done wonderfully well. Despite this, actually now, we have to see really whether we are doing enough, or is there anything else to do? And really, what are the things that we have to do in case if we have to attract the Gen Z, that is the people who are born after 97 and who are now in the age group of around 20 to 25, and who are going to do the agriculture in the due course. Many of you might have seen that international studies by 2030-35, most of the global farmers will be in the range of 65 years and above. And many of them may not be able to use the technology, but if we have to sustain the agriculture in a much better way, we have to have a new technology, enablement with the technology and embedded into the entire production process, and also add value to the whole of the agriculture and profitability. And being a banker, I always feel any enterprise without having any profitability has no meaning. And that is why many of the people, that is the second generation or third generation of the farmers' kids, are not interested to go into the farming because they have seen their peers who migrated to the nearby urban center also earning more. So that is where actually now we have to bring back this entire thing into this one. So my entire lecture is how a tech-enabled high-value agriculture is needed for the profitability and the ecological security. Now these are the two issues which are doing. So now I have put 20 minutes time for myself, and we will do this one. So let us start the presentation. So this is the one, tech-enabled high-value agriculture for profitability and ecological sustainability. So now, unless really we balance the last two things, that is the profitability and ecological sustainability, agriculture will not be viable at all. Okay. So now, you can read this one. If agriculture is to continue to feed the world, it needs to become more like manufacturing. Actually, that many times people think it is not. The other day, actually last Sunday, I was in one of the place where most of the people are talking about actually we should go back to the old agricultural ways, actually have one cow, then actually this one cow will be able to do maybe 2 acres of agriculture and all those things. I am not discounting the merit of that. But at the same time, are we in a position to feed the millions and billions which we are adding right now? Because by 2050, if you look into it, the world population, it will be close to 10 billion, and India will be around 1.6 billion. And in case if we cannot produce more from the limited areas which we are having, we just can't sustain this kind of a thing. That's why there is a need to go into the new technologies and others. And here, I would like to see really how the things will happen. So Indian agriculture should transform itself from subsistence level of farming to the commercial farming, and it should be from the input intensive to input responsive. Actually, this is where the new technology has to come, and already it has come, because many a times what we are doing is we are just dumping the fertilizer, we are dumping the pesticide without knowing or without even looking into it actually whether it is useful or not. So that is why we have to have this. Then the next most important thing is whether we should migrate from the carbon negative to the carbon positive. Now this is one of the areas which we have to look into it. Then the low efficiency to high efficiency, polluting kind of an agriculture to pollution-free climate, and climate prone to climate smart. Now one Michong had made all the disaster. Actually all the commercial crops, normal crops have gone. If that is the case, really how we can be able to do this kind of thing. So now, is the new paradigm that is happening, is the world hunger being addressed. Now actually, as chairman of NABARD, actually I used to go around the many countries. In one of the countries where I was addressing a big symposium, somebody has asked actually how India has become so self-sufficient in the food, while many of us are not able to do it. Then I told that India's agriculture is resting on a tripod, that is on the 3 legs. The first leg is the agricultural research, whether it is the ICR, agricultural universities, or maybe any kind of thing which we are having. The second leg is the extension network, both in the public and private. And the third most important thing is the credit. Many of you in the audience may not be aware, nowhere else in the world there is an earmarked amount of a credit to the agriculture, except in India. In India, if you have to do the banking, 18% of the credit which you give in the whole year has to go to the agriculture, and that is why we are able to go do so much. Now today, if I really look into it, actually that many of you sitting in the audience may recall that is in 2003-04, when we then Congress government has come, Manmohan Singh ji was the Prime Minister, and we told that agriculture credit has to double. Actually, this was the mantra given to the government and to the bankers. And if you remember, really that time in 2003-04, you just can't believe the total agriculture credit was just 56,000 crores. Just 56,000 crores, and the target given was it should be doubled in 3 years to maybe close to around 1,30,000 crores. But bankers have not only done double, then subsequently in 2008, they made a kind of a thing that agriculture every year, we have to say that the targets have to be fixed by the government itself. Now we just recall the budget of any year in the recent past from 2007 onwards. The finance minister will announce, this year I am setting a target of 15 lakh crores, 16 lakh crores, 17 lakh crores like that. Now today, from that era of 56,000 crores, last year we have delivered 20 lakh crores. Now can you imagine really how much of a money has gone into the system? And today, in case if the agriculture in India is doing so well, the farmers, almost close to 86% of the farmers are getting the credit in some form or other. And second thing is the credit is subvented. Actually, we do at 4% interest rate up to 3 lakh rupees. So now all these things are there. And third, recently I was in Africa, and somebody was telling that agriculture here is not so remunerative because the fertilizer cost is 2,400 rupees in Indian equivalent per bag of urea, while Indian farmers are getting it around 300 rupees or 400 rupees because we subsidize it. Now, initially when I was chairman, actually that there was a feeler from the government of India saying that we want to do away with the fertilizer subsidy to the factories and we will give DB2 to the farmers. When they came, I told that it is suicidal. Because if you transfer the money to the farmer, farmer may do anything with that one other than using the fertilizer. But if you do the fertilizer, whether he is a tenant farmer, whether he is a lessee farmer, or whether he is a owner, he goes to the market and buy the fertilizer at the same rate. That's why actually they are using the fertilizer. So now the Indian agriculture production is very well oiled because of all these things. So now, thanks to all these things. So now, if that is the case, is the world hunger being addressed? This is absolutely not being done, because even today, if you look into the globe as a whole, many of the people are hungry, and particularly some of the geographies are like that. Then what would be the population in 2050? As I told, it is 10 billion people, and we are adding close to almost around 1.5 to 2 billion from now onwards, and that is a very, very big kind of a thing. Then the third one is, are we producing enough now? We may be producing, but thing is the diet preference has changed. Many of us want to take proteinaceous diet. Many of us want to do so many things. And if you want to take the entire trajectory to the proteinaceous diet, all the animals which are being reared for the protein has to be fed on cereals. So you have to produce more of cereals, and so that to get the more protein. So now, if really everybody wants to take the proteinaceous diet, the way the fashion is going on, or maybe the attitude is going on, definitely we need to produce more for this one. Then, what the role technology can play in modernizing this ancient India's technology? That is what actually we try to talk. Now, you take this kind of a thing, actually really how actually we are doing, because now I am involved in so much of a technology enablement within the banking system, and also taking the agriculture into this one. This is how the future of technology is going to become. First thing is, now that mobile has become so powerful, actually we need not use the laptops or computers, this itself is enough. Now this mobile, the latest iPhone, is 1 TB memory. That means I can save the data for almost years together, and I can do so much of a calculation. Now actually what exactly these things are doing, actually that we are collecting quite a lot of a market data is there everywhere, whether it is the farmers data or market data. This entire data can be put into the system. And the next one is with regard to that artificial intelligence, because now I had seen, because recently I was in US, and I found really how artificial intelligence is being embedded into the technologies. So much of a thing is happening in the whole of this thing. And the drones, as in the morning somebody was telling that drone DVs, whether it is DVs or not, but at the same time, the drones are the unmanned aerial vehicles have become very, very important. Now, they started doing so many things. Now, when all these things are being used, we are generating so much of a data, and many times this big data which we are doing, actually if it is not analyzed, it has got no meaning. That is where now the new engines are being developed to see really how the data is being analyzed, and really how the digital topography is created for each and every geography, each and every crop, each and every farmer, and also really what exactly is going to do, and where actually most of the other technologies which we are doing, whether it is soil mapping, water mapping, or maybe the qualities, or every kind of a thing is being put into this one. Again, it comes back to the system, and the farmer and also the people who are the stakeholders will get the entire kind of an information as to what to do. That is where actually now the technology embedment is happening. I had put a last slide, just wait till the time as to what exactly we are doing with this one. So now actually how we are doing it, it is the intersection of technology and agriculture is ushering in a new era marked by increased efficiency, productivity and sustainability, and the digital technologies which we are having right now, like the Internet of Things. I don't know how many of you have experienced it, but as a NABARDS, actually we got so much of a grant proposals, actually we gave somewhere, at least in many states, actually some of the places where the internet, how the IoT in the irrigation can improve it. I'll give only one example. In a watershed area in Maharashtra, one pond was developed which was irrigating close to around 15 acres of a mango orchard. Then we gave this IoT to them, IoT in the irrigation, where the soil probes were put in various places, and the entire data has been transmitted to the satellite and again comes back to the system. So whenever the soil moisture stress happens, the valves automatically works, and with that the pond which was irrigating 15 acres of mango now is irrigating 45 acres of mango. Now imagine 300%, which is unimaginable in the previous cases. That is what I told in the beginning, whether it is fertilizer, whether it is water, whether it is the pesticide or anything, in case if you do the very judicious way of doing the things, actually we can reduce the cost, we can improve the efficiencies, we can do the things. And all these things are possible now because of this 5G technology, because IoT and others. So now combine all this IoT with the machine learning and also the artificial intelligence, and it is going to profoundly transform the entire agricultural practices, which I had seen with my own eyes. Now this is how actually the entire artificial intelligence is going to work. First of all, it does the crop yield prediction and price forecast, intelligent spraying, predict insights, agricultural robots. Now actually in the morning I was telling somebody whether agricultural robots they have seen. Actually now I am mentoring 2 companies which are doing the agricultural robots. Now this is a battery operated robot which is of a small size to just do the interculture operation, earthing up, sowing, you just name any kind of a thing. It costs just around 100 rupees. And this is a battery operated one. Battery can be charged like that any kind of electric vehicle. Now this entire electric bull or maybe the X machine you call by any name, this costs only 1 lakh. A farmer can have it and he can use it as a custom application also. So now imagine really what kind of a thing is going to happen for reducing the cost of cultivation. And many a times, in case if you look into the agronomy part of the crop, why the productivity is low? Because now, since the labor is a big constraint, actually we are not doing the earthing up and hoeing. We are just killing the weeds by spraying the glyphosate, and afterwards we are doing nothing. So the soil has become very compact. Now, if you just do with this kind of electric bull, where that machine learning is already put into the system, this will go and see that last time it has done this kind of a thing, next time also it will do the same thing. Actually, you need not even give the instructions. So with just 100 rupees, you are able to do it. So now that is how the things are happening. And the disease diagnosis, actually we had seen, because in one of the places where I have gone, for the same machine, actually they have put 3 cameras. It goes to the each and every plant in the greenhouse, looks into the entire part, it scans the whole of the plant, right from the tree, leaves to the stem to the everywhere. And in case if it finds anything which is abnormal, that is away from the normal, immediately it sends the message to the central server. And I had seen when I was there for almost 2 hours, at the end of 2 hours, the workers came and removed 10 pots from that one, saying that these 10 pots were infected, these are having some kind of thing, they took it out and do the things. Now, imagine in case if it is not there, the disease or a pest would have spread to the whole of the greenhouse and would have been a disaster. And that is how just with a very little kind of expenditure, things are happening to this one. That is why actually I am telling that tech enablement is the future of agriculture. How the technology is there. Now actually I have put, is it genetics related, agronomy related, farm machine related, irrigation technology related, or there is anything beyond all these things, then how we are going to do it. Genetics related. Now actually genetic engineering, we are all listening for quite some time. GM crops are not allowed in India, but this February when I was in Bangladesh, people are happily eating the GM brinjal, and we also ate, at least in the last 12 months I have not died, but, but at the same time, now because the genetic engineered crops have got some kind of a backlash, now there is a kind of a new technology called the gene editing has come. And also mini chromosome technology has come. Now actually these are the things which are going to do this one. Then agronomy related, as I told that right from that is in normal operations, the ploughing to the end product. Actually now quite a lot of a machinery and technology has come. Actually I had seen in so many places where people are absolutely not going to the field. Actually they are operating through the machines and also this kind of a thing. Then the farm machinery, all this ML and AI are being incorporated into the farm machinery. Now actually when I went to US, I have saw one of the tractor companies doing the entire driverless tractors. Complete it is a driverless. Actually that entire field map is given and the contours are fixed. This fellow just sits on the border and the tractor goes and does the entire operation and it is coming. So now it's a matter of time when it is coming to India also. Then is there anything beyond all these things? Actually now what exactly is required is the integration of all these technologies, bringing them into one kind of a thing where we can make them available to the small farmer also, because every farmer cannot buy this one, but an enterprise or an FPO or an institution like KVK can do all these kinds of technology to be given to the farmers at a cost. Then software as an agriculture as an enterprise actually it is there, drones, IoT, automated machines, all these things are there. And the last one is that weather data has been integrated. Now, we got actually about Mitsong Tufan, we got the information. But thing is whether really our farmers were ready to take up the entire thing, actually I was not sure. But at the same time now, all these things are happening. And the last I have put the soil sensors. When I was in Seattle, somebody had shown me a instrument, which is a sensor. Just one sensor can cover 25 acres of land. It will continuously monitor the soil health, continuously monitor the moisture, continuously monitor the ambient temperatures, microclimate, and everything. So actually, and this data continuously going there, getting analyzed, and it will come back. So now, such kind of systems are available. So now, as I'm telling that in the morning, somebody was telling, India is a small farmers country, they cannot afford technology. It is not so. Technology is now becoming affordable. Technology has to be taken by somebody who can operate it, and they should give to the farmers at a price, then things are going to happen. So I'll just tell, I don't know how much time is left, but still I got some time. So what I have seen in various countries, that rice production, because now every crop, actually profitability is the things. Now actually we are standing in a different kind of thing. If you go to Africa, the rice production is something around a ton to 1.5 ton is the maximum, that is the average. In India, we are average around 3.8 tons. Only some few states will get 5 tons, but thing is average. Now go to China. I was in Nanjing University. They had shown me one variety of hybrid, which is giving them continuously 22 tons. So now imagine the spectrum between 1 hectare, 1 ton to the 22 tons. Actually now, to have 22 tons, actually in Africa, they have to put 22 acres under this one, and here it's only 1 acre is enough. And what China has done, they have done so much of a technology integration to this one. Apart from that hybridization, they made the agronomic technology also. The other thing which I have seen, because multi-storied animal farming, I don't know whether many of you have heard about it or not. When I went to Beijing, it is just maybe something like around 20-30 kilometers from Beijing. 26-storied building. It looks like a software from outside, but inside they are rearing pigs. And entire thing is a mechanized farm. Actually, that entire thing is done in such a way that computers control the whole thing. What exactly is happening? How much feed has to go? Really, what is the gain of the weight? When the animals have to be shifted to the next silo, and then when it has to be culled. All those things are done in a very, very thing, and the productivity levels are very high. Actually, now, just look into China is having only 90 million hectares of land, but they produce close to 500 million tons of food grains, or maybe all these things. So that is why actually we are having. So now I think I have done. So now actually I will go to quickly to then, Then actually I will just go maybe so many other countries, but thing is I went to some countries in Brazil and Belize in South and Central America. The sugarcane production is close to around 150 tons per hectare as against 80 tons in India. Now, that is because of not only variety, but because of the technology also. So, where they integrated. So, this is how now that drones have become ubiquitous and multi-purpose. And this is the pivot irrigation, because in India we don't have such kind of a land, but you go to any of the bigger countries, they have the pivot irrigation. It mimics the entire rainfall. And the data the companies showed, they say that actually it gives almost 20% extra yield, because it mimics the rain. Then this is the robo. Actually, I had taken this one because now, whenever we are asking the laborers to harvest the crop, actually they will harvest everything, whatever is available, without looking at the maturity. But this in robo, will see each and every fruit and harvest only that thing. Actually, this is there. Likewise, in the greenhouse, this is the normal, and this is the vertical farming. This is in here itself. And this is in India itself, actually lettuce farming happening, and there is a multi-storied lettuce farming happening here. It is outskirts of the Hyderabad. The productivity has gone up by almost around 4 times. So now that is there. Then this is the 360, that is 24 by 7 farming with this kind of a thing. And it is happening, and some people are doing in the containers also, this one. Then the ultra high density banana, ultra high density mango. Then this is ultra high density. This was taken just last Sunday, outskirts of Hyderabad. 1,000 plants, and this farmer is getting close to around 7 lakhs per acre as the net profit. And avocado is already coming, it is there in many places. And this high density papaya, now actually that it is 25 to 30 tons, but when I went to Belize, I found they are producing close to 52 tons per acre is this thing. And one of the farms actually which is owned by the Indians within America, they are in the Belize, they are making $1 million net profit out of 500 acres of papaya plantation. Now 8 crores. And this is brinjal taken by me in Chhattisgarh. This farmer is getting 15 lakh rupees in brinjal crop. It is the kind. In tomato, outside Hyderabad, you must have seen that one farmer, Mahendra Reddy, has got 3 crores in the last tomato boom, and this is from his farm. And tulips, actually this one actually I taken. Now this is the last but one slide, it says solar as third crop. We are saying that profitability has to go up. We gave a pilot project where actually such kind of a solar panels are put on the field, and now you can cultivate the crop. There is absolutely no depreciation in the yield, but at the same time, by supplying power to the grid, the farmer is getting 3 to 4 lakh rupees every year. And the blockchain and IoT, everybody has talked about. Ultimately, at the end of it, it has to come. So finally, before my saying this, I'll say what exactly happening now, because AgriStack is being created. I am also part of one of their advisory team, and this AgriStack is the one which requires, I say that Indian agriculture needs digitization to make supply chain efficient, transparent, market-driven, and traceable. Now, if all these things are there, we have to do it. And this AgriStack can play enabling access of high-quality inputs to the farmers, linkages to the markets, reduction post-harvest losses, access to institutional credit, insurance, subsidies, subventions, and DBT. And this is what actually now, though actually many attempts are made and the data is there in silos, but I will say that the things have to be put in place to make this kind of a very big kind of operation. That is where actually the digitization or the technology is going to make Indian agriculture very resilient, profitable, environmentally conscious, ESG compliant, and finally, ecologically secure. It's going to happen. Thank you.